part 2 of the practice exam is going to cover the last 2 pages of the practice exam. So it's going to cover the 2 word problems. So let's take a look. I've got, in fact, let me fix that so it doesn't keep going in and out of focus. So we've got a playground, and our playground is square. And we need to remember that when I have a square, that the base and the height, so if I use x and x, my base and height are the same. So we've got this square playground, and the total area of the patio of the square playground is x squared minus 30x plus 225. And I need to write a polynomial that represents the side length of the playground. So if I do that, I want to remember that I have 2 factors, the base and the height, base times height. Then when I multiply those together, equals the area of my playground, which is x squared minus 30x plus 225. So if I take a look at that and I'm like, wait a minute, here's a factor, here's another factor, and when I multiply these 2 together, I get a polynomial. Well, I could easily, and these are both going to be the same, right? Because they are the side lengths of a square. So let's go ahead and factor this out and apply the skills around factoring to figure out what I've got. Well, I'm going to come over here, and I'm looking for 2 factors of 225, and I know that that is 15 and 15. So, and I know because I also have to get to negative 30. So let's go ahead, and if I multiply 2 negatives together, negative times a negative is positive 225, and I get negative 15 plus another negative 15 gives me negative 30x. So now I know that my factors are x minus 15 times x minus 15, and that equals x squared minus 30x plus 225. And I also know that I could actually write that as x minus 15 squared, which is equal to my polynomial. So write a polynomial that represents the side length. Well, my side length, therefore, is going to be x minus 15. That's the side length of my square of the playground. So I've taken care of part A. Let's look at part B. Part B says write an expression for the perimeter of the playground. Well, if I have a square, I know the perimeter, and I know that the side lengths are all x, because it's a square, that the perimeter is when I take x plus x plus x plus x. So what is that? That's 4x. Well, I'm going to go over here, and I can draw a picture real quick, and I know that my side lengths are x minus 15, and I've actually got it 4 times, right, all the way around. So I can do one of 2 things. I could add up all the side lengths, which is what I typically do, x minus 15 plus x minus 15 plus another x minus 15 plus one more x minus 15. Take a look. So now I got to add up all those together. I get 4x minus 60. I could also take an x minus 15 and multiply that by 4, which would have given me the same answer, 4x minus 15. So the perimeter equals, oops, this is 60. The perimeter equals 4x minus 60. So, okay, I've taken care of A and B. So now it says let's find both the perimeter and the area of the playground when x is equal to 6. Well, I can tell you right now that the perimeter is not going to work. It's not going to work out to be a number that you want for the perimeter, but I'm going to go ahead and work through it anyway. And we'll state what it is, and then we'll say it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to actually use my perimeter expression right there, I know that perimeter is equal to 4x minus 60. And I know that x is equal to 6. Therefore, I'm going to substitute x in. So I'm going to go 4 times 6 minus 60, which this is 24 minus 60. Perimeter cannot be negative, but it's telling me here that the perimeter is equal to negative 36. We know that that can't happen because I can't have negative distance around something. So something wrong with it. So it's an error in corrected. That maybe if I would have put in 16 in there or 60, that totally would have worked. But now let's look at what the area is. The area is base times height. We know that. We also know what the area is. We were given the area of x squared minus 30x plus 225. I can easily substitute 6 in for x easily, and I can go 6 squared minus 30 times 6 plus 225 and calculate it out that way. So area is equal to, or I can go and I can get my x minus 15 and I can square that, right? So the area, and I substitute in x right there, which is 6 minus 15. That's easy. That's negative 9. And negative 9 squared is going to give me my area. So therefore my area is equal to 81. So now 81 what? So let's go back up here and make sure. Square feet. So the area is 81 square feet. And my perimeter, obviously, negative 36 is just feet. But again, that can't be, but I just want to make sure that I capture the units on it. So that's number 3. You're going to see a problem very similar to this. Please make note on the test. It will tell you if it's a square or not. I think on the test it's a rectangle. Okay, so if it doesn't tell you it's a square, then you have to assume it's a rectangle. All right, so let's look at the last one. You've got that we had a Feel Good Friday at MA, and we know that one of the clubs was selling fruit-flavored iced tea, and you decided to buy a glass, and the student gave it to you on the glass, and he gave it to you on a square napkin. So he presented that with you. So you can see this picture here. And we know that the area of the square napkin right here, it's square. That should tell you something. Hint, hint, all sides are the same. So basically write an expression that represents the side length of the napkin. So what do I need to do? Well, I know base times height gives me the area. I'm being told what the area is. The area is equal to d squared plus 8d plus 16. Looking for 2 factors. So I'm basically going to go ahead and factor this. Looking for the factors of 16, that's summed to 8. Well, I know I got 16 and 1, 4 and 4, 8 and 2. Well, there it is right there, 4 and 4. So I know that I've got d plus 4 times d plus 4 is going to give me my 2 factors. So what is the side length? One of the side lengths. So the side length is d plus 4. Okay, so that is an expression that represents the side length of the napkin. So now we're supposed to write an expression that represents the perimeter. Again, we're given the distance around is called the perimeter. If I know that d plus 4 is the side length, and I know I've got a square, then all I'm going to do is take d plus 4 and add it 4 times. You guys are going to get really good at area and perimeter, that's for sure, doing these problems. So what do I know? If I add all of this up together, I get 4d plus 16. And what does that equal? That equals a perimeter. So now it's asking us to actually calculate the perimeter of the napkin when D is equal to 11 centimeters. 11 centimeters. So I can do it one or two ways. I'm going to go the easy route. I'm going to take 4D plus 16, and I'm going to substitute 11 in right there. So I'm going to go 4 times 11 plus 16. So 4 times 11 is 44 plus 16, which is equal to 60 what? So the perimeter is equal to 60 centimeters. Okay? So how else could I have done that? Well, I could have, believe it or not, I could have gone back up here to D plus 4 and done D plus 4. So what was my, so 11 plus 4, which is 15. And I could have added that 4 times, right? Which would have been equal to 60. Or I could have taken 11 times 4, which is 15, and multiplied that by 4. So there's so many different ways to do it. The biggest thing is, was I able to get to 60? Yes. The biggest thing that I need to make sure that you remember is make sure that you add in your units. So that's the practice test. So tomorrow when you come back in, you've already seen the test. You'll notice that pages 1 and 2 look just like it. 3 and 4, problem number 3 looks like one of these. And then the bonus problem is actually really different. I've had a couple of kids ask me about the bonus problem, or students, and I've said, look, it's all about critical thinking. I want you to do your absolute best. Do the best you can, okay? So have a good evening and make sure you study hard.